Hi, this is Tom, and in this video we're going to solve this third degree polynomial 4x cubed minus 22x squared minus 12x equals 0. Since the equation is already set to 0, then the first thing that we need to do is find a greatest common factor. And if you look at it, our greatest common factor is going to be a 2x. So I'm going to just make a note here that we have a greatest common factor is 2x. So I'm going to factor a 2x from every single term on the polynomial. So that's going to give me a 2x parentheses. Then I'm going to have a 2x squared minus 11x minus 6 equals 0. Now you can take two paths at this point. Notice that we've broken the problem into two factors. 2x is a factor, and 2x squared minus 11x minus 6 is also a factor. So we could just set each factor to 0 at this point. So if we do that, we have the problem of 2x equals 0, or 2x squared minus 11x minus 6 equals 0. Well, this one, let's solve this first one, 2x equals 0. We do that, we divide both sides by 2. So I'm going to do that in blue just so we can track our changes here. So if I divide both sides by a 2, do that on the left, divided by 2 on the right, and the 2's cancel here. And 0 divided by 2 is 0, so I'm left with a result of x equals 0. And that actually is one of the solutions to our problem. Now, let's look at this piece on the right, 2x squared minus 11x minus 6. This is a quadratic. The only way we know how to solve these at this point is to factor. So let's play the game and see if this will factor. So remember the game, we take the a term. Let's note that. The a is the 2. This right here is the a. I shouldn't do that because that looks like us dividing. I don't want to do that. So I'll write this down below, that we have a is 2. It's the coefficient on the x squared. I have that b is negative 11, and we have c is negative 6. So in the top spot, I take a times negative 6, which is, a times c, or 2 times negative 6. So in the top position here, I'll have negative 12. In the bottom position, I put the b value, that's negative 11. So I need two numbers that will multiply to negative 12 and add to negative 11. And I'm coming up with a negative 12 times a positive 1. I think that works. Okay, now let's factor. We're going to rewrite the equation. That's going to give me a 2x squared minus a 12x plus 1x minus 6 equals 0. Now we can factor by grouping. So since we have 4 terms, let's make a note here. I'm going to factor by grouping. Factor by grouping. And in my first group here, my greatest common factor is a 2x. So I take a 2x out, and I'm left with an x minus 6. And in the second group, it looks like I can factor a positive 1. So I'm going to write plus 1. That's going to leave me an x minus 6. Still, the whole problem still equals 0. Now notice that x minus 6, these match. So now my new greatest common factor is x minus 6. So I can factor out the x minus 6. And I'm left with 2x plus 1. Those are each are factors. So I'm going to move the screen up here. Let's do that. Let's just move it up. Now I can set each factor to 0 and solve. So x minus 6 is a factor. So I'll write x minus 6 equals 0, or 2x plus 1 equals 0. Now I solve each one. So again, I'll mark my changes here in blue. So on this first equation, I'm going to add 6 to both sides. And that's going to give me the new equation of x equals 6. So now I've found my second solution. Okay, on this next problem, we're going to subtract 1 from both sides. Minus 1. Then that's going to give me a 2x equals 0. Oh, and look, that's the same problem that we did over here earlier today. But that's okay. Let's just try it one more time. Again, we're going to divide both sides by 2 to get x by itself. So divide the left by 2. Divide the right also by 2. The 2's here on the left cancel. 0 divided by 2 is simply 0. So I have x equals 0. And then, just to be formal, you should take and write all your answers out at once. So we have our answers are, oops, I lost the first one. My answers are x equals 0, 6. Oh, I made a terrible mistake. Goodness gracious. Let me go back. 0 minus 1. I need to erase here. So let's go erase. Hopefully you caught that earlier. So 0 minus 1 is 0 minus 1 is negative 1. So negative 1 divided by 2 would give us that x is negative 1/2. So come over here, let's erase this. And fix our mistake. This is why you should always do your math with pencil. So now I have x equals 0, 6, and negative 1/2. And if I wanted, I could check my solutions by putting 0 back all the way back into the very beginning problem and see if it came out as 0. Do the same with 6, and do the same with the negative 1/2. This is Tom signing out, and I hope this helps. Thanks.